Hi viewers, this is CBSE Grade 10 Political Science Federalism Part 3. The first part we had seen meaning and features of federalism. Second session we had seen we had matched the features of federalism with Indian constitutional provisions and what made India a federal country. In the third session, let us see what are the major policies adopted by the Indian government to strengthen the federalism. Let us see in this chapter. There are three major ways which strengthen the federalism in India. They are linguistic states, language policy, and reconstructing center-state relations. Let us see one by one in detail. We know that constitutional provisions alone cannot bring the successful federalism. In addition to that constitutional provisions, democratic politics also to be successful. Democratic politics includes respect for diversity and desire for living together. In the last feature of federalism, we had seen an ideal federalism is where the people have mutual trust and agree to live together, we had seen. See, those are the two words. Respect for diversity. I mean, accommodate diversities, mutual trust and desire for living together, agreement to live together. So, constitutional provisions along with democratic politics like respect for diversity and desire for living together makes federalism strong. Let us see real success of federalism in India. India is constitutional provisions plus nature of democratic politics. Democratic politics in the sense respect for diversity and desire for living together. This makes the real success of federalism in India. Okay. See, the creation of linguistic states was the first test. After 1947, I mean after the independence, our states, many old states have been vanished and many new states have been created. I mean many old states as they were ruled by the different kings, more princely states were united together, they have vanished and new states based on the language had been created. Areas, boundaries, names of the states, everything was changed. In 1947, why these old states of India had been changed in order to create new states. Old princely states had been changed and new linguistic states had been created. This was done to ensure that why it had been done? Because people speak same language, live in same state, so that you can avoid conflict. Different languages, people in the same area will bring some conflict. So to avoid that and to make strength the same language speaking people. So the people who speak the same language live in the same state. For this purpose, the new states had been created. Some states were created, but not on all the states have been created on the language basis. You may have one word answers, or in your competitive exams, you will have a question like, in India, India has been divided based on the language policy, the area or constitution, some other options they'll be giving. In India, states had been divided based on the language. Linguistic states is the answer. Linguistic, based on the language. You don't forget that. Linguistic. Okay. Now, some states were not created on the basis of language. Not all the states were created on the basis of language. Like some states were created on the basis of culture, ethnicity, or geography. Such states like Nagaland, Uttarakhand, and Jharkhand. These three states have not been created on the basis of language. You have to remember that all the states had been created, divided based on the language to ensure that people speak same language, live in the same state. And these three states, Nagaland, Uttarakhand, and Jharkhand, have been created based on the culture, ethnicity, and geography. When the demand for formation of states on the basis of language, our national leaders feared because Now only we have united immediately after the independence. We struggled a lot. I mean, our Sardar Vallabhai Patel, the Iron Man of India, struggled a lot to unite all the princely states into one union, Indian Union. Again, people demanded separate state for their own language speaking people. So when the demand raised in Andhra, man named Potti Sriramulu, he went on hunger strike for 58 days, demanding separate state for Telugu speaking people. So our national leaders were afraid of. Now only we have struggled to unite all the states together. Again, if we divide the states on the basis of language, this will disintegrate the country. This will disturb the unity of the country. It will not integrate the country. This will disintegrate country. They feared. Our national leaders feared. And central government resisted linguistic state for some time. But Potti Sriramulu went on hunger strike for 58 days. And the 59th day, he died. So after a long fear, long struggle, long thinking, our national leaders had decided to create state on the basis of language. So Andhra was the first state which was created based on the language. Previously it was known as Andhra, then it was named as Andhra Pradesh. Okay. But the experience shown that the formation of linguistic states actually made the country more united. As our national leaders feared, it did not disintegrate the country. Rather, it has united the country. The formation of linguistic states, the formation of states, I mean, division of the states are based on the language to ensure that same language speaking people live in same state. It united the country, not disintegrate the country, as some national leaders feared. It has proven in experience the formation of linguistic states has actually made the country more united. And also, it made administration easier because the same language people, if you wanted to share any communication on the same language can be used, same culture can be used. And also, not only it united the people, also it made administration easier. So that was great successful. Creation of linguistic states was successful one. It strengthened the federalism. Now let us move on to the second test. That is language policy. In India, all other countries, they will have their national language. They will have their national religion. In India, we don't have so. As a secular nation, we have not adopted any particular language as our national language, national religion. Also, we did not give any particular language the status of national language. Okay, our constitution did not give the status of national language to any one language. National language, no particular language is our national language. Hindi and English was declared as official language. Hindi was declared as official language, not national language. Here you have to note down this word, not national language, which is common to all the nation. I mean, all through the nation, it is only the official language, not national language. Why? But because most of the people are speaking Hindi. But when Hindi was identified as official language, only 40% of the people's mother tongue was only Hindi. Then, besides Hindi, 21 other languages are recognized as scheduled languages by the Constitution. So, besides Hindi, here we have to notice a word. You will be getting MCQs in competitive exams, not only for the purpose of 10th exam, for the competitive purpose, you will be given a question like, besides Hindi, 21 other languages. Besides Hindi, 22 they will give. So, if you see the word besides, so apart from Hindi, 21 other languages you have to remember. But totally 22 languages are scheduled languages. Remember children, totally 22 languages are scheduled languages. If you see the word besides Hindi, that is 21. Don't get confused. Totally 22, besides Hindi, Hindi illamal, only 22 languages. Okay, and Hindi, English also was accepted as a official language. Why English was accepted as official language? Let us see afterwards. So now let us talk about Hindi. Hindi was not identified as national language. It is accepted as a official language, but only 40% of the people's mother tongue was Hindi. Besides Hindi, 21 other languages are scheduled by the constitution, not only Hindi. See, a candidate in examination conducted for the central government, if you are writing the central government competitive exams, I mean UPSC or railway recruitment, SSC, see if you are writing the competitive exams for getting the government postings, central government postings, you may opt to take any of these languages. I mean 22 languages have been scheduled. We have seen no in the previous page. See, not only Hindi, 21 other languages, totally 22 including Hindi. So you can, but usually the central government examinations, you will have a question in once only in Hindi or in English. Only these two languages you will be getting questions. You may be expert in your subject. You may be talented in reasoning, but you may be poor in understanding the languages Hindi and English. Hindi or English. So useless. Even though you are expert in your subject, you have strong subject knowledge, you may not be answerable to, you may not be in a position to answer for the questions. You might have known the answers, but you could not understand the questions because those questions are only in Hindi or in English. Only these two languages. Both the languages are not familiar to other state people, those who speak Tamil, Telugu, Malayalam, Kannada, are not familiar with the English or Hindi. Only if understand the language question, you can answer. Even though you know the answer, you may not understand the question. So here now it is a constitutional provision. A candidate in an examination who appears for the central government jobs, they can opt of any of these languages. I mean, they have the right to ask the examiner to give me the question in my own language, not in Hindi or English, which is not known to me. I know Tamil, I know Malayalam, I know Kannada. You give me the question in Tamil, Malayalam, Kannada, Marathi, or Telugu, or Odissi. Okay. So this was a constitutional provisions for a long time. Children were not aware of it. The candidates were not aware of it. So they struggled a lot. Even though they know the answer, they were not in a position to answer. It is not so. Hereafter, you people, if you have decided to appear for the central government examinations, I mean central government jobs, you can very well ask the examiner to give you a question in your own language if it is listed in the 22 scheduled languages. Okay, children, you should be cautious. Then states too have their own official languages. See, Karnataka has its own official language, Kannada. Telugu, Andhra. So the states too have their own official languages. Tamil Nadu, Tamil is the official language. Kerala, Malayalam is the official language. So states too have their official language. So not only Hindi or English, along with that Hindi, 21 other languages are scheduled. So the states, concerned states, they have their own official languages. Much of the government work takes place in their official language in the concerned state. If it is Maharashtra, all the communications will be in Marathi. If it is Odisha, all the communications will be in Odissi. Okay. So next, let us move on to the then usage of English. As we are used up with the language of English, use of English during the colonial period, many people were used up with the practice of English. So they demanded English let it continue for some time, they demanded. So the constitution provisions told that use of English for 15 years, they have permitted from 1950 to 1965. Only for 15 years, use of English can be continued, but it should be stopped in 1965 according to the constitution of 1950. But many non-Hindi speaking people, even after this 15 years, I mean, even after this 1965, many non-Hindi speaking people, because in those days, all the communications from the central government only in Hindi or English. So as English is an international language, some people are familiar with this language, not with Hindi. So non-Hindi speaking people, they demanded even after 1965, let English continue as the official language. English also can be continued as the English official language. So as per the constitution, use of English to be stopped at 1965 as non-Hindi speaking states demanded the use of English to continue. But in Tamil Nadu, this movement took a violent form. In Tamil Nadu, in Dravidian side, always we are resisting Hindi. Hindi is not being accepted. It was resisted strongly. So English was accepted to continue as an official language. The central government responded by agreeing to continue the English along with Hindi for official purpose. So what are the official languages? What are the two official languages we have? Hindi and English. And along with that, 21 other languages are scheduled languages also. Only these two languages are accepted as official languages, Hindi and English. Now let us move on to what is promotion of Hindi. See, always the central government continues to be the official policy of the government of India. Promotion of Hindi. What is promotion of Hindi? Developing the Hindi language in all the states of India. The central government, whatever the central government may be the Congress or maybe the BJP or maybe the National Front, Left Front, any party, their main aim was to promote Hindi. So the promotion of Hindi continues to be the official policy of the government of India. But promotion does not mean that it likes to promote Hindi language all over the nation. But promotion does not mean impose Hindi on states. For that, in the name of promoting Hindi, the central government cannot impose Hindi on states. As per the new education policy, new NEP, the 3-language policy has been adopted. In that also, the central government tried to impose Hindi, promote Hindi, but it cannot impose Hindi. That is why it cannot insist the people to follow Hindi, to learn Hindi. That is this meaning. Promotion is not imposing Hindi on states where people speak a different language. That is why our Tamil Nadu government is often refusing to accept Hindi. Okay, so the flexibility is shown by Indian political leaders. So they cannot compel if they are not flexible, like you have to learn Hindi compulsory. We have seen the promotion of Hindi is the official policy of the government of India, we had seen. But as per the constitutional provision, you cannot promotion you cannot impose Hindi on states where other languages are spoken. So this flexibility shown by Indian political leaders helped to avoid the situation that happens at Sri Lanka. This was the problem at Sri Lanka when the Sri Lankan government refused to permit Tamil also as official language. That led to civil war. So here, because of this flexibility of our political leaders, it avoid the situation that happens in Sri Lanka. Okay. So according to the language policy, we have seen that no language is given as official status. No language is given as national language status. Only Hindi was identified as official language because only 40% of the people's mother tongue is Hindi. Besides, in the 21 other languages have been adopted, I mean scheduled in the constitution. The candidate in examination can ask the question in his own language, which is listed in 22 scheduled languages. States to have their own official languages of their own state. Most of the communications will be in their own language. So, according to the constitution, use of English was stopped at 1965, but non-Hindi speaking people demanded English let it continue further. So they have agreed, the central government agreed to continue English along with Hindi, English as also an official language. So we have only two official languages called Hindi or English and 22 other languages. So promotion of Hindi, I mean it continues to be the official policy of central government of India, but central government cannot impose Hindi on the states where they don't speak. So this flexibility by the political leaders helped to avoid the situation same like Sri Lanka. So let us see what are the scheduled languages of India. See, this is percentage of people. By the side we have given statistical data. This is percentage of this language speaking. So Assamese 1.28% people are speaking Assamese. Assamese, Bengali, Bodo, Dogri, Gujarati, Hindi, Kannada, Kashmir, Konkani, Maithili, Malayalam, Manipuri, Marathi, Nepali, Oriya, Punjabi, Sanskrit, Santali, Sindhi, Tamil, Telugu, and Urdu. These are the 22 languages called scheduled languages. So this here also you have to remember the fact 22 languages, scheduled languages. If you are given a question, how many languages are scheduled? 22. Besides Hindi, unless otherwise you see the word besides Hindi, 21. Totally, if you are merely asked how many languages are scheduled, not 22, you have to answer. Okay. Now let us move on to the center-state relationship. Third test is center-state relationship. What is center-state relationship? See, restructuring the center-state relation strengthened federalism. Central government, the relationship between the central government and the state government. Even though our constitutional arrangements divide the subjects, it clearly specifies the jurisdiction of each level of government. But even though constitutional arrangements for sharing power, but it depends upon how the ruling parties and leaders follow these arrangements. So ruling parties and leaders, they will find holes in the law and they will apply that. We have seen that, what to say, that union territories, central governments have some special powers, it will interfere and disturb. Okay, so even though constitutional arrangements for sharing power clearly defines, but the success of the central state relationship depends on how large it's and how the ruling parties and leaders follow these arrangements, whether they follow it in a proper manner or misuse matters. So for a long time, let us see, for a long time, the same party ruled both at the center and in the most of the states. That means if BJP is ruling at the central government, it will be the ruling party of the state government also in many states. If Congress is ruling at the parliament, it will be the state legislative assembly. The chief ministers also will belong to the Congress. Okay, the national parties. So for a long time, the same party ruled both the center and the state. So central government the same, BJP is a prime minister and state government chief minister also BJP. If the central government prime minister is belonging to Congress, the state government chief minister also will be Congress. So it was going on for a long time. That means the state governments did not exercise their rights as autonomous federal units. I mean, whatever the party leader says should be followed by the chief minister also. Even though he is an elected representative for the legislative assembly, he has to obey the words of the party leader who is sitting at the central government. So state government did not have their rights of autonomous federal units. They cannot exercise their own feeling. Okay. So this was the problem for the state governments. They were not able to exercise their power, autonomous power. But after some time, and as and when ruling party at the state was different, as and when ruling party at state was different means in central government, ruling party will be, the prime minister will be BJP, and in the state government, the chief minister will be belonging to DMK, ADMK, Communist, or Congress, any other party, which is not friendly with the BJP. So as and when ruling party of the state was different, if it is not their own party, central government often tried to undermine the power of the states. If it is their own party, chief minister and prime minister are both belonging to the same party, no problem. If they were different, in center, one party is ruling, state chief minister belonging to other party, the central government tried to undermine the powers of the states. In those days, central government would often misuse the constitution. For what misuse the constitution? To dismiss the state government controlled by rival parties. Right? Central government is ruled by BJP. State government is ruled by Congress and vice versa. If central government is ruled by Congress, state government is ruled by BJP. The central government often misuse the constitution to dismiss the state government. It was a problem. So the state government should be afraid of the central government. Whatever they say, It has to agree, it has to follow, it has to obey. It cannot exercise its autonomous power. That was a situation till 1990. This undermined the spirit of federalism. Federalism says that every level of government has its own jurisdiction. But in practice, it is not so. So that is what we have seen in the previous slide. The constitutional arrangements for sharing power work. In reality, it depends on how ruling parties and leaders follow these arrangements we have seen. It was not followed properly. Central government often misuse the constitution to dismiss the state government by rival parties. That undermined the spirit of federalism. That has not strengthened the spirit of federalism. But all these changed after 1990. This period saw the rise of regional political parties. What is regional political parties? Every region, those political parties, I mean state political parties, are becoming stronger after 1990. How? When in the center, no single party was able to get majority. Then what it has to do? If it is not, national parties are not able to, BJP or Congress, if they are not able to get single majority, they have to go with alliance to form the coalition government at the center. Okay, so that is the beginning of the era, coalition government at the center, because no national party, no single party is able to get majority to form government at the center. These parties was in a position to have an alliance with the regional parties, I mean state parties. Regional parties is state parties. State parties to form government at the center. So since because of that, the central government, I mean national parties are in a position to respect the state government parties, I mean state political parties. Okay, so clear majority, when no single party is able to get clear majority in Lok Sabha, the major national parties are to enter into an alliance with regional parties, I mean state political parties. National parties are in a position to have alliance with state parties to form a government in the center. So this led to a new culture of power sharing and respect for the autonomy of the state governments. Previously, we have seen as central government was getting single majority, it need not respect the state political parties. After 1990, the situation had been changed when the central government, no single party is able to get clear majority in the Lok Sabha, they were in a position to get the support of the state parties also to form a coalition government at center. Anyway, they have to respect the state parties, otherwise they will withdraw the support. If the coalition government is formed with the help of state government, the central government has to respect the state political parties, otherwise they will withdraw the government. They have to dissolve their government. So this new culture of power sharing started respect and autonomy of the state governments. This was strengthened by the support of major judgment of the Supreme Court. That was the one thing. The coalition government was the one thing, and this was supported, this was strengthened by a major judgment of the Supreme Court. What Supreme Court said? It made it difficult for the central government to dismiss state governments in arbitrary manner. What is arbitrary manner? You will be telling this and that reason, not concrete reason, not constitutional reason. So orally negotiating. So in it, Supreme Court judgment made it difficult for the central government. It cannot misuse the constitutional provisions to dismiss the state government. It made it strong, difficult for the central government to dismiss the state governments in arbitrary manners. So what are the two things enabled the power of autonomy of the states? Coalition government and Supreme Court judgment make the states autonomy and make the national parties to respect the state parties. Okay, they have to form coalition government with the help of the state government only. So they have to respect the state political parties, no other go. And Supreme Court judgment. So thus the federal power sharing is more effective today than it was in the earlier days. Earlier days in the means before 1990. Before 1990, central government often misuse the power to dismiss the state governments. No, it cannot be done. So we have seen three things, three major provisions to strengthen federalism in India: linguistic states, division of states based on the language, and language policy. No language is a constitutional provisions for nature of democratic politics. We have created the states on the basis of language. So it ensures that the people speak same language, live in the same state. As the nation leaders feared, that does not disintegrate the unity of the country. It has united the country more and also made administration easier. Second is language policy. No single language is given the status of national language. Hindi was declared as official language because only 40% of the people were people's mother tongue was Hindi. Besides Hindi, 21 other languages also scheduled. So 22 languages we have scheduled languages. The candidate in examination may opt for any of these languages to write central government competitive exams. States who too have their own official languages, much of the work takes place in their own official language of the state. According to the constitution, use of English was to be stopped in 1965, but major non-Hindi speaking states demanded let English to continue. So the central government agreed to continue along with Hindi. English also can be an official language. And we have promotion of Hindi is a policy of government of India, central government of India, but promotion does not mean that it can impose the Hindi on states where the people speak different language. This flexibility avoid the conflict between the different language people. See, these are the 22 scheduled languages. Then third policy is center-state relationship. I mean, restructuring the center-state relations. Up to 1990, the constitutional arrangement, even the constitutional arrangement is strong for power sharing. I mean, every level of government is given their own jurisdiction, but it depends, the success of it depends upon how the ruling parties and leaders follow these arrangements. For a long time, the same party ruled with the center and the state, no problem was. Whenever the rival party is ruling in the state, the central government tried to misuse the constitutional provisions and it tried to dismiss the state government. These things changed after 1990 when the central government was not able to get single majority. It was in a position to have alliance with the state parties. Then it has to respect the state government also. And this was strengthened by a judgment of the Supreme Court, which made difficult for the central government to dismiss the state governments in an arbitrary manner. So coalition government and Supreme Court judgment make the autonomous unit autonomy of the strengthened autonomy and respect of the states. Thus, federal power sharing is more effective today than it was in the early years. Okay, in the next session, let us see decentralization in India. That is how the third tier system has been strengthened in India. Thank you.